I want to be remembered for the kid that came from Australia and put everybody from his area on and became not just the biggest thing out of Australia, but the biggest thing in the world.
Young children and teenagers are joining alleged street gangs in Western Sydney. They're writing songs and posting online videos emulating violent US rap culture.
Never thought we'd be here today. 2 years ago, I was sitting in the cell, so I knew something had to change.
Gangs, primarily of Pacific Islander descent, remain a priority of the New South Wales Police Force.
It's not what it sounds like, it's what it feels like.
It's never about the sound, it's always about the
what it
feeling.
feels.
All I knew is rapping about violence, but I didn't really know what was really waiting for me, and that was to become a real musician.
I'm like the J or the Drake of my city. Where they say they won't say that shit to me. I'm in downtown, all my brothers is with me. Shout out my boys from the 70s, shout out my boys from the 60s. They know what's in me.
Music's me now, that's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
LAROI sent me 4 tracks, and the first one we listened to was this, and we didn't listen to anything else. There was a music idea that Keanu started that he then sent to Fnatic and Zach. Then that sample was sent in a pack to Haan. Him and LAROI made an idea, which was LAROI's vocal that you hear in the beginning, and that's where it ended. LAROI was like, I want to give this to ONEFOUR and let them do their thing on it.
Khaled had told me about the song, and he played it to me, and I was like, man, the boys gotta hear this. We'll listen to it off the phone. Put it on, and you just see the energy in the room.
It was perfect.
I'm like the J or the Drake of my city. Where they say they won't say that shit to me.
I'm the J and the Drake of my city.
He's just stating it. That's crazy in itself.
I'm in downtown, all my brothers is with me. Shout out my boys from the 70s, shout out my boys from the 60s. They know what's in me.
70s us. 60, that's St. Mary's. One station down. Those are our brothers.
Just unifies everything.
Then he brings it back to 17.
Shout out my boys from the 17, they really know how I was living. Oh, what a
It fit
feeling.
perfectly for the situation, what was happening at the time.
Time when we were getting a bit of backlash from a lot of social media.
People were trying to blame us for certain things that were happening around us, stabbings, whatever you call it, shootings, because of our music and our brand.
I walk through the city, they treat me like God. We was 6 deep in that 5-seater car. I heard that they got a problem with me, told them cut on my face, but they faking it fraud.
It was excitement to get their emotions out. They wrote their verses so quickly because they just knew what to talk about.
James was writing his verse without no beat there.
I remember going on my phone, starting up messages on my story, ready to reply to people, and my team around me was saying, just don't worry about it.
We've never been the type of people to have to explain ourselves over the media, you know what I mean? It's gonna be like that. This is our perfect time to be able to speak our mind on how we feel about certain things happening around us.
Now they blaming ONEFOUR for all of the drillings. They blaming us for what happens in Sydney. They blaming us for what happens in Melbourne. They blaming us for what happens in Brizzy. Tell me who's with me, cause I ain't kidding, this shit been happening since back in the day. No one said nothing when she got knocked, but now everybody's got something to say. Get the f*** on my face. I ain't trying to lead these youngins astray, but stay in your place. If you got a problem, then come out and play. I'm making my paper, I stayed in my lane. They thought I would change for the money and fame. Everything that I'm doing, I do for the game. We already told you this shit ain't a game. Now stop playing, everyone knows that.
I'm like the J or the Drake of my city. Where they say they won't say that shit to me. I'm in downtown, all my brothers is with me. Shout out my boys from the 70s, shout out my boys from the 60s. They know what's in me. Shout out my boys from the 17, they really know how I was living. Oh, what a feeling.
The energy and the frustration of that song translates, because you can feel it.
That's the thing that stands out about LAROI and stands out about these guys is they emote, like they're speaking from their guts, their heart, their soul, you know?
For our music, we've always told our story. We've always explained what's happening around us and what's happening to us.
That's the only way we know how to.
For us guys is to help them facilitate a safe environment for them to be able to express themselves.
In the streets, you have your family, but then on the music side also, there's a family environment.
It's just been the same team from the beginning. No new friends.
It's like sitting down at a dinner table and asking them how their day was.
It's like a therapy session.
I got too much on my plate to be putting up with all the politics. For the critics, I don't have the tolerance, and for the pussy boys sucking and swallowing. Yeah, I hate when I'm speaking the truth, but I gotta acknowledge it. Yeah, they quick to point fingers, but someone please tell me, where did they all get their confidence? I ain't gonna take this shit no more. First class and I'm on that plane. Put O's on the map and they all complain. Telling the truth and they still complain. Shooting their clips now, they all shooting their clips because they all want fame, but out on the strip they ain't got no name. Out on the strip they ain't got no names.
I wake up every morning, bro, grateful to be in this position.
This far in the last 18 months, we feel like we can take anything on now.
I guess it's just come to that time where people just want to know exactly what's going on in our heads.
I want people to listen to this, to take it on board, and then really just learn from it.
You know, the musicality of the whole project, just what they're talking about too, it's the life story.
We're fucking 1-4, brother.
They blaming us for what happened to Melvin. They blaming us for what happened to prison. Tell me who's with me, cause I ain't kidding, this been happening since back in the day. No one said nothing with shit, but now everybody's got something to say.